What is your American dream?
My American dream is to have all the people in this country unite under the fact no racism, no discrimination, no people that make billions when other people are suffering.
For that people to have honest conversations, to care about each other, and to have equal rights.
My American dream is an America where we fully engage the ideals of freedom, liberty, and justice for all people, not based on the color of your skin tone, your access to money and resources, your ability to pay your way through a legal system or a litigious process to obtain something like health care.
I hope America will be one day like Martin Luther King fight so hard for equality. We are all the same. We are all the same. There's no race, there is no nationality, nothing. We are created by God and we are all the same, and that's what we have to be in this country.
My American dream is that this truly does become a place where we can all coexist and have liberty and justice for all.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. It is Brad Show Live. It is December 15th, a Wednesday. I took a short hiatus. I'm back. Wait a second here. Jill gave me specific instructions to make sure my collar is okay.
There it is.
There we go. I hear some voices in the background. Could it be?
Still looking good. You looking
I
good.
heard two voices in the back. Oh, my God. The two most beautiful people I know. I'm gonna tell you something, and that ain't
on weekdays.
On weekdays, Monday through Friday, and that ain't a lie. But if I'm ever on a date with anybody else, I'm gonna be like, no, that was a lie. You are the most beautiful. But I'm only kidding. You guys are really, you guys are wonderful, beautiful. I missed you for a week. How's everything going?
Everything's good.
Everything's good.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm lagging.
By the way, everybody's hairdo is looking really, really fine today. Jonathan with a.
Oh.
Did you go to the barber?
I cut my own hair.
You got your own hair. I don't know. It looks
you look
real...
52 though, Brad. I don't know. You look refreshed.
Well, yeah, I was away for a few days.
That explains it.
And Vanessa, you look beaming. I mean, this is just all we're doing is just complimenting each other. That's the show today. Let's just all compliment each other, right?
I like it.
Right.
I'm here.
I like it too.
I'm here for a good compliment.
Meanwhile, let's give some compliments. Let's give some compliments to the squad. Why don't we? Carol Anderson, the Tiger, squad up, also very beautiful. We have, by the way, have you guys looked at? You ever kind of go through Facebook and YouTube and see what the squad look? We got a pretty good looking crew. I mean, not
we
crew.
Do.
I mean, we have a crew back there, but pretty good looking squad too, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever checked them out?
Of course.
Anyway,
I'm talking to him right now. Sorry, I'm 29 supersedes complimented me, so I'm taking it back. I just want to respond.
No, you all looking really good today. I don't know what it is.
It's the lighting. It's the lighting for all of us.
And by the way, today is Tuesday, not Wednesday. I'm still on vacation, obviously, right?
Right. Look, you want it to be Wednesday, huh?
I did want it to be Wednesday.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Perfect way to come back to work.
Zach Latif from On saying, hello, how are you? Angie Wilson, squad up. Unruly Queen, squad up. How are you? Latoya, his forever Peterson. She's staying with him through thick or thin. That's all I can say. Stargirl Mika, squad up. How are you? Monica Stone, squad up. Unruly Queen saying, hi, Brad. She's unruly. Tracy Rowe, good night, Uncle Brad. And D. Olivia, Samantha Jones, Judith Hall Spencer, Mod Dukes. What's going on? Squad up. Let's see what's going on YouTube. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, on both YouTube and Facebook. She is double fisting. Jessica Levy Joel, squad up. Elisa Enot, squad up. Yo-Yo, what's going on? Bright Malka Stinnett, squad up. I know you. With a question, we'll get to you in a little bit. Tracy Lacey, squad up. And 29 Super C, squad up. By the way, remember, there was a time, Yo-Yo and Vanessa, when we double fisted with a left foot. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, maybe come January, we should see if we can double fist with a left foot. Maybe double fist with 2 feet. All right,
with 2 feet.
Yeah, because we could go live on Instagram and Twitter too. But we haven't done that during COVID. But maybe we should production meeting on that one.
Right.
All right. Jonathan and Vanessa, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do while I get ready for some schmoozing?
Absolutely. All right, guys, it's the first day back. It feels good. Everybody's super excited. So let's all show that love by joining the VIP Facebook fan page. All you have to do is go into the search engine on Facebook and say Brad Squad. It is a VIP page where you could throw in your question anytime throughout the day, and we'll make sure we take the first 5 questions. Not only that, we're going to throw some different videos and different stuff that we won't put on other social media platforms, just because we want to keep it very much so the VIP treatment. So all you have to do is, like I said, go into the search engine, put Brad Squad, and we will. All you have to do is click that request button. You have to click a request button, and we will accept it on our end. Okay. Now, sharing is caring. You guys already know what time it is. We have to share on Facebook. Like I said, this is the first day back, so people might not know that we came back if they didn't click that little notification bell. So all you have to do is share, click that little arrow, share it to anyone's page. You can share it in the inbox, copy the link, send it to in this text message blast. Remember how we said there's so many groups, all right? I want you guys, so like, you know how I always kind of give you guys little tasks. So I want to see if you guys know any groups that you have shared it to. If you guys have shared it into a group, I want you to show it to us and tell us in the comment section what group you shared it to. So because like I said, we need to make sure that we're actually doing this. I don't want to just say it to say it. We need to actually put action into this, all right? So like I said, the only way we can get this show out is through you and those fingers or thumbs, fingers, whatever you're using. All right, so share right now. Also put in your questions in the comment section right now. It's the beginning of the show, so it's more than likely to get answered. Also, of course, interaction. We love to hear how your weekend was, how your week is going, what you guys have planned for the holidays. If you're doing anything for the holidays, let us know, all right? Remember, we are a big family, a big community. Now, also, please put in your notification. Click that little bell notification so you can find out what time we are going to come on anytime we do a pop-up. You will not know, because we don't even know what time we come on when we do a pop-up. So the only way you'll find out is if you click that little bell notification. And it's also dope because anytime we upload any kind of video, you'll get a notification as well. All right, now that's quick. Let us know what we're doing on YouTube.
Okay, squad. So on YouTube, the very first thing that we need to do, if you haven't already, is you need to formally be a part of the squad and subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe to the channel, right next to it, you'll find an icon for a notification bell. And if you click that notification bell, it'll do just that and notify you when Brad's show live is on Monday through Friday. You guys do not want to miss it. You'll also find an arrow that is asking you to share. You will hear me and Yo-Yo say this word so many times because it is so important for you to share all the knowledge and the value that we provide here on Brad's Show Live. There's still so many people that don't know about our show, and you guys who are watching know all of the answers that Brad provides for you guys and all the help, all the great service that we're doing here. So why not share? So go ahead and click that share arrow. You can copy the link, send it in a text message, send it in groups, send it in WhatsApp groups, send it in Facebook groups, cultural groups, anyone out there that you know will take great value of the information that we give here on Brad Show Live. Make sure that you put your questions in the comment box on YouTube because we have our squad in the back gathering those questions up for social media check-in. We also want to interact with you guys, so go ahead, go in there. Give us some feedback. How's your day going? Is there anyone in the Northeast feeling this cold? But most importantly, I need to see thumbs up from you guys. Right now, I see so many more people watching than the ones that are giving us those thumbs up. If you like what you're watching right now, if you love this trio, please give us a thumbs up, because that lets YouTube know that we're doing great work here, and it'll move us up in the timeline of all the greatness that is on YouTube, but particularly bring a focus to us by you simply giving us that thumbs up. I see us going up slowly. We're gonna see what goes down, or I will not have Brad answer immigration questions today, because we need for you guys to like it in order for us to give you the information that you're liking. So give us those thumbs up. We really need it. And of course, if you can't catch a full 2-hour show, you can find us on Instagram at Brad Show Live, where we share the best clips of our show. We share some extra information, some Bradifications, a bunch of different content that you catch here in a smaller form. You can also send us a direct message on Instagram with your questions, and someone from the squad or Brad will answer your question. And I want to get right into our show, so let's get into Choosing with Brad.
All right, Nesquik and Yo-Yo.
Can I get a PSA?
Again.
Can I do a PSA?
Yes, you can do a PSA, Yo-Yo. Go for it.
All right. We want a big congratulations for Yara Edwards Jenkins. She said, today I got my green card.
Hey!
Wow.
That's a good PSA, public service announcement. Congratulations,
Yes.
public service announcements are always good. Those are always good.
Yeah.
So congratulations to her.
So that's big.
And what's amazing is that she got her green card today. You know what she did? She's still watching Bradshaw Live. Right?
That's what I'm talking
Right. It's not like, oh, I got my green card. I don't need the immigration help anymore. She's still watching, right?
Exactly. That's even better.
And she's gonna share.
That's right.
Gonna share.
That's right. All right, Julian, let's do this one more time. Schmoozing with Brad. So, you know what happened? You know what happened once again? It's like Groundhog's Day here. Joe Biden was again proclaimed the winner of the presidential election. Like, we didn't know this already, but now they've been proclaimed. It's been proclaimed again, but this time by the Electoral College, which is basically for the last 200 and some odd years of the Republic of the United States of America. It's been kind of like a ritual, a pro forma thing where they rubber stamp it. But this year, oh my God, nobody could say he actually became the president until the Electoral College came to vote. And everybody was nervous. What if the people from Michigan or Wisconsin or Arizona or Georgia, they just don't go with the will of the people and they just say, we're voting for Trump anyway. Well, none of that happened. And the democratic institutions of the United States held firm. The Electoral College followed the will of the people and voted Joe Biden as the next president of the United States. As a matter of fact, now the Speaker of the House, who refused to say whether or not Joe Biden was in fact the president of the United States, he came out today, Mitch McConnell, and he said, yes, in fact, Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States. He congratulated Joe Biden, and he asked all of his colleagues, both in the Senate and the House of Representatives, to stop this further nonsense of saying that Joe Biden is not the president or is not the legitimate president. Mitch McConnell, the head majority leader of the Senate, of the Republican caucus, he's the most powerful Republican in the United States. I guess short of Donald Trump, probably more powerful than even Mike Pence. And he came out and he said today, Joe Biden is going to be the next president, and the Republicans have to now understand that. Furthermore, you know who also came out and congratulated Joe Biden today? Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin came and congratulated Joe Biden today as well.
Now that it's official.
Yeah, now Vladimir Putin, he doesn't like Joe Biden.
To them.
He doesn't like Joe Biden. Joe Biden said to him, Joe Biden in his book, in his memoir, claims, I don't know if anybody else heard it, but this is what Joe Biden claims in his memoir, that he looked at Vladimir Putin right in the eyes and he says, I don't think you got a soul. Now, so if in fact that is what happened, that's what he claims in his memoir. I mean, that's not a very flattering picture of Vlad. But apparently, if that's what he said in his memoir, Vlad's probably not too happy that, Trump, who, many people believe, was in the pocket of Vladimir Putin. We don't have any specific evidence. It just seems very odd that, Donald Trump really caved into Vladimir Putin when he didn't cave into many other leaders. But it appears that Vladimir Putin's not too happy about Joe Biden, but he did wish him congratulations. And when I say, the democratic institutions in the United States held up, it is a Supreme Court that has been a majority of the Supreme Court of the United States was nominated and put in by Republican presidents. So you would think that a majority put in by Republican presidents, including Kavanaugh right there, and Justice Roberts, he's the Supreme Court majority leader. You would think that the Supreme Court, if they were playing politics, would have taken up some of the cases that Donald Trump brought in federal court to overturn the election and the will of the people, and they summarily dismissed all of Donald Trump's cases, including the most recent one with the state of Texas suing Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, and Pennsylvania, saying that their absentee ballots were illegal, and as a result of the absentee ballots being illegal, none of the voting in those 4 states should be counted, and it should be up to the state legislatures to decide who the electors from the Electoral College should be voting for. And the Supreme Court, in a one-sentence decision, dismissed the case as being absolutely not within their realm to decide. So, the democratic institutions of the United States held up. When the Republican governor of Georgia declared Joe Biden as the winner of the presidential election in Georgia, when the state secretary of state, who's also Republican, who's in charge of counting the votes, declared Joe Biden as the winner, even though Donald Trump put a lot of pressure on them to say otherwise, the democratic institutions held up. When, the Wisconsin state Supreme Court, who is a majority Republicans, refused to hear Donald Trump's lawsuits regarding illegal and fraudulent ballots in Wisconsin, even though it's a Republican court, the democratic institutions held up. People were following the law, and they weren't blindly following Donald Trump, although, he probably wanted them to do so. Yeah. Meanwhile, the FDA over the weekend gave Pfizer the green light to start injecting people. And yesterday, thousands of vials of the vaccine were shipped to all 50 states. Top U.S. officials hope that the healthcare workers will begin administering the injections immediately. Some have already been given. Sandra Lindsay, a critical care nurse at Long Island Jewish Medical Center, received the first dose of the 2-dose vaccine on camera around 9:20 a.m. at the Queens Hospital as Governor Andrew Cuomo looked on. This morning, also, the FDA released a detailed analysis of the COVID vaccine for Moderna. They expect to approve that as well a little later in the week. They had similar efficacy rates, the Moderna one as the Pfizer efficacy, meaning that it worked. And Moderna is well over 90% preventing COVID from people who take it. So that should also start being administered. The Moderna shots as well as the Pfizer shots should be starting to be administered shortly. And by the way, there's really not a big difference between the Moderna and the Pfizer one. They both work on the same scientific theory of taking RNA. Do you remember RNA from biology, guys, or that's
RNA?
RNA. Do you remember that from biology class, or you don't remember that? No. So RNA is the building.
Science wasn't my groove.
Science wasn't your groove. I figured that. So it wasn't mine either, which is why I'm a lawyer, not a doctor. But I vaguely remember some things. And one of the vague things I remember is the RNA is the building blocks of the DNA. And that's the RNA tells the DNA what to do and how to, how to formulate inside your body. And I'm saying this in a very, very, very basic way. So what they're doing is they are injecting RNA into your body. They're not injecting. It's a new way to give a vaccine. They've never done a vaccine like this before. In past, they would give a vaccine of a dead virus or a skeletal virus that would cause a reaction that did not make you sick, but caused a reaction in your body to fight off a future virus and make antibodies, can trick the body into believing that you have the virus when you don't. Now here, this RNA is completely different. It's not tricking the body into anything. What it's doing is RNA is telling the DNA how to combine themselves to create an antibody within your body to fight off COVID.
Oh, wow.
So it's basically giving instructions to your DNA, to build an antibody to fight off COVID whenever it may happen. So, this is the first, very advanced science stuff. I mean, this is like Star Wars things, or Star Trek things or whatever,
All I see, the blood kind of like just conforming and just like moving around inside.
Yeah, and it's basically giving instructions to your DNA to make an antibody. So people are now concerned that this injection is changing people's DNA inside their bodies, and there's a lot of ethical considerations, I guess. But from all things, people who got the shot, nobody lost fingers or turned green or yellow or orange, and it's a different type of vaccine than what you would be getting in many of the other vaccines that are being developed around the world. And many of the others, they're just basically giving you dead COVID virus, or COVID virus that's skeletal, that doesn't necessarily make you sick.
Which one do you like?
I like the RNA one. I don't like to be injected with a virus.
So you like
I think so. I mean, but to me, about 3-4 months ago, less than 50% of Americans said they were going to get the COVID shot. Now it has risen to more than 70% of Americans say they will in fact take the COVID shot. The 70% mark is the mark that is needed to end the pandemic in the United States of America. If 70% of Americans are either vaccinated or have got the COVID already and therefore have the antibodies, that is what is going to turn America back to normal, whatever normal may be. We don't have to wear masks or anything else. So that's the goal, 70% people willing to take the vaccine. And apparently, as of this moment, that's what the polling is showing. Now, what is also happening is that, and we talked about this a little bit already, that, the government can't force you to take a vaccine, but many other businesses can, and it's completely legal in the United States, and this has already been tested in the Supreme Court. So, employers can say, you're not allowed back in our office, in our office unless you take a vaccine. Not only because we want to protect our other employees, but maybe we have, it's good for business because maybe we have customers who are walking through our stores or our offices, and we want to be able to tell our customers, and we want to be able to tell, people who are walking through our business that it's a safe business to come to. Our employees are not going to give you COVID. So there's legitimate business reasons. There's legitimate business reasons for companies to say, we're going to require you to have a vaccine. And the same thing with airlines. Imagine a marketing for an airline. You're 100% safe on our airline. All our employees have had the vaccine, and we don't let you on our plane unless you had a vaccine. So, I mean, there's perfectly legitimate business reasons for doing it. Just like, there's been schools that mandate you have to have polio vaccine, for example, before you're allowed in your school, or measles vaccine. And school districts have been mandating it for decades here in the United States. So I think even if people ultimately don't want to take the vaccine, they're going to end up having to do it, because other than that, they're going to be shut out of many things that we take for granted. What do you think?
I mean, that makes sense. I like I said, I've gone from a hard no to I'm thinking about it. So I think that's the same mindset a lot of Americans are in right now, which is why it went up so much. So
meanwhile,
I'm just waiting.
What do you think, Vanessa?
No, I agree. I mean, I can totally see how it should be something mandatory, especially for people working in spaces like retail stores or more confined spaces, because it is important for at least the team to be confirmed that they're walking through the space, and they're tested and they're safe.
And at this point, I'm ready. I'm just ready. Like, I'm sick and tired. I can't go home for Christmas. This is the first Christmas of my entire life that my family is not going to be able to spend Christmas together because of the cases in California. So it's almost like I'm over it. What do I have to do to get this ish over, and done to where we could all go back to our normal lives? So I think that's where a lot of us are at.
That's where I'm at. When I look at it from my point of view, and maybe it's a different point of view, because you guys are a lot younger than me, but certainly from my point of view, I say, well, if I get COVID, in 2, 3, 4 years, I'm now at that age where it could become deadly for me. Number two, I want to enjoy the rest of my life. It's not like I have another 80 years of life. I have 30, 35 years of life, figure you live to 85, 90 years old, if I'm lucky. Right. All right. I'm 52 years old right now. So, and I want to enjoy it. I'll take the risk of what this is going to do to me in 30 years from now, so I can enjoy my life between now and the next 30 years.
Exactly.
All right. I don't know what it'll do to me in 30 years. I know in the short term, it's already been proven scientifically that at least in the short term, there's no short-term effects that are going to, cause a huge problem in my life. In the long term, I don't know. Nobody knows for sure. Right. But I'm willing to take that risk because I've taken I've taken the flu vaccine for, 20 years. I have many different vaccines in my body. I've lived this far. So I'm willing to take the risk so I can enjoy my life and we can go get back to normal in America. And I'll worry about in 30 years what it will be, because if we don't take the vaccine, then we're worried about what's going to happen next month and 2 months and 3 months from now. That's how I look at it. There's a risk in both ways.
Yeah.
There's a risk both ways, no question about it. But when you weigh taking, getting rid of short-term risk for an unknown long-term risk, which may not be any risk at all, or may be something we don't know, versus to continue to live like this, I'll push the can down the road 20, 30 years. Worry about it in 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I agree.
That's how I look at it. Now,
I'm here with you.
I mean, you could be different because, maybe you guys are younger than me. I don't know. Meanwhile, you guys hungry right now? I'm a bit hungry.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah.
You already know that.
Yeah, problem is we can't go to dinner anymore or lunch in a New York City restaurant inside. Yeah, Governor Cuomo shut down indoor dining in New York City. And as a matter of fact, we're going to get a big snowstorm here tomorrow. So they've shut down outdoor dining as well so that the snowplows can come and plow the roads and cars don't go crashing on a snowy day into people eating on sidewalks. So, our battered restaurant industry, I feel so bad for people who own restaurants or work in restaurants or, even people. I was speaking to a client today. He distributes fish to a restaurant. He says, my business is terrible. So, there's so many people who get affected when restaurants close. I just feel bad for that entire industry. Every day you don't know if you have a job, you don't have a job, you're going to work, you're not going to work. It's a terrible, terrible thing. But that's unfortunately what's happening right now. I never felt completely unsafe eating in. Just me eating inside. Some people do, but I didn't find it completely unsafe eating inside of a restaurant. The tables were far apart. The waiters have masks on. Nobody was really congregating around me other than the person I was with. Listen, I'm a big Cuomo supporter, but I don't know if I don't know if I support this one. What do you guys think?
I haven't gone indoor dining, so I don't know exactly how it felt. I've done indoor other gatherings or whatever. So I feel like during the holiday season, I think it's pretty smart that he still did this, even though it's not a popular thing. Just because after Thanksgiving, when everybody came together, it rose. So I feel like it's gonna rise again for Christmas time. So the fact that he's doing this now and then right after the holidays, you can reopen, and I think that will kind of balance out, because I feel like it's already gonna go skyrocket because of Christmas. So maybe that's why he did it.
I don't know, because they have the outdoor dining, but then the restaurants put they put a cloth covering. They enclose it 3 ways. So what's the big deal? You're eating outside, and there's one side is open, 3 sides are closed, the roof on top. What's the
Right.
difference between that and just open the damn windows in the restaurant? And
Well, you can't open the windows of the restaurant.
you
because
can
then your
many times.
food's
I
gonna
don't
get
know. Well, yeah, I mean, but if you're eating outside in 20-degree weather, your food's getting cold anyway.
cold. True.
Yeah.
True.
Vanessa, what do you think of all this while I get ready?
I just think it's I mean, why just dining? Like there's so many people. I was checking this out on social media and they're like, okay, surely, right, with restaurants, but what about other places where people are in close proximity that aren't being closed down?
The gym.
I'm not too sure how, like the gym exactly. There's things like that. So I see a lot of talk on social media.
Yeah,
on
why,
that
yeah. Why
topic.
is the gym? Why are you safe in a gym
I
but
don't
not
want
safe in
them.
a restaurant? The
Well,
whole thing
at
makes
the-
no sense to me.
At the gym, but at the gym you have to have your mask on the entire time. They literally troll around you throughout the whole day and make sure that everybody has their mask on.
Well, I guess
At
yeah,
the
in a restaurant,
you
you
don't
can,
have
you're
your
right.
mask on the whole time because
You're-
you have to eat.
you're
sitting
right.
and talking. Right when you sit down at your table, you could take off your mask. It's a big difference.
But then you're going to eat at home, and maybe you'll invite people over to your home. You're going to be without masks on there too, no?
Well, at that point, you do whatever you want at your own place. But like when it becomes a business, that's a liability. Now it's like, say somebody gets COVID when they went to, it's like, oh, I haven't gone out anywhere, but I went to your restaurant. Now I have COVID. It's a liability. So
Yeah,
I think that's one.
I don't know if when the restaurants have the tables far apart, I don't necessarily buy it, but okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Meanwhile, you know what time it is? It's tea time. I'm a bit thirsty.
Tea time.
It is tea time.
Where is
Julian, we don't have a butler because of COVID. The butler, we're not allowed to have a butler because of COVID. But Julian, the TriCaster guy, with trying, he's been testing out his recipe for tea all week. He said he finally figured out the recipe. You dip the tea bag in the pot. He's been trying to do it all week. He finally figured it out. I have some warm
you have
tea,
tea.
and I have to drink it with my
Ooh,
pinky out.
What kind is it?
It's called cold tea because it's been
Oh.
sitting here for
Iced
30
tea?
minutes. It's called iced tea, lukewarm tea.
Lukewarm tea.
Yet still very tasty.
Room temperature tea.
Julian can make me tea any day of the week. He did a
Oh,
fantastic job. I can't wait
Just
to get.
add on
I
to
can't
his-
wait to get our butler back. But it is now tea time with Uncle Brad and Jonathan and Vanessa. Do you guys have tea, or you didn't break? I'm just drinking tea by myself.
Yeah, mine's still brewing.
by yourself.
Mine is brewing.
All right. Meanwhile, Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, country singers, they're married.
Yes.
With Christmas with Christmas next week, they started to show off their Christmas decorations.
Oh my God!
And even Tim McGraw, he was given some massive decorating instructions by his wife Faith. The I Called Mama singer took to Instagram on Tuesday to share the wild side of him sitting atop an extremely high ladder in order to wrap tinsel around the impressively large pine in, I guess that's their home. Very nice home.
That's beautiful.
McGraw remained in good spirits over the tall task and encouraged fans to guess what was going on in a 3-picture slideshow of him hard at work. A, Santa's lead flying reindeer, or B, wife trying to get rid of me before Christmas, said the 3-time Grammy. I would say wife trying to get rid of him before Christmas.
Yeah, agree.
If I was up on that ladder, I would go flying over. I have like the worst. I would be taking a dive. Uncle Brad would be in the hospital. There'd be no Bradshaw alive for a very long time. Faith Hill, if I was married to her, it would be a short marriage. She would have killed me by Christmas.
Well, that's a good husband, though. That's a good.
That is a very good husband. Would you?
How high do you guys think that tree is?
That looks like that home. Can we go back to the picture a second? Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah.
That home. That's 3 sets of windows.
Sheesh.
So that home's got to be at least 2.5 to 3 stories high there. So figure 10 feet per window. It's close to 30 feet up in the air. 3 stories.
Wow.
So he's got to be 3 stories up in the air, right?
That's insane.
Doesn't that look like 3 stories? Because look at the windows, 1, 2, 3.
It looked like 2 stories, I think.
2 stories, maybe 3, somewhere between 20 to 30.
Even so, yeah.
Somewhere between 20 to 30 feet.
That's
But still,
high up.
that looks insane. I'm looking at my Christmas tree now. I just want to kick it down.
My Christmas tree cost me $20.
Yeah, I was this weekend. I was in a very tall building this weekend, and I looked out the window, and all of a sudden, this guy coming down on the thing like that.
Oh,
he must have been 7. I was on floor 70 something. I don't remember 76,
Nope.
77. And this guy's coming down, and he's you know. I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough money to come down on the rope and go. And he does this all day long, cleaning that building.
Absolutely not. I have a huge fear of heights, so that absolutely wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You'll never see me.
Right. You will never see me doing that. I would starve on the street. You know, and I'd be, living with the rats before they have me.
You're afraid of heights too, right?
We're
getting a comment here, Maxine.
Yeah, before they have me wheeling down the side of a building, washing windows. No way. No
Scared
way.
of heights, Uncle Brad,
Yes.
and Yo-Yo.
And
Who
Faith
wants to go skydiving?
and I will never marry Faith Hill, no matter how much she loves me, no matter how beautiful she is, because there's no way in hell I'm climbing up 3 stories to put tinsel on a Christmas tree for her.
Yeah.
Let me have some tea. I'm getting all nervous now thinking of all this height.
Just think of it. Just think about it, right?
The tea will calm me down.
It's a little jittery there, huh? Scared.
Meanwhile,
Spill the tea, Brad.
Meanwhile, Ben and Jerry, you know them, the ice cream people. They're teaming up with Colin Kaepernick and debuting a new flavor in honor of the former NFL player, with his portion of the proceeds going to his Know Your Rights campaign, a nonprofit devoted to Black and brown communities. The non-dairy frozen dessert, dubbed Change the World, WHIRLED. So it's not world, it's world.
Oh, that's dope.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be sold nationwide next year. It's going to be caramel, sunflower, butter base with fudge chips, graham cracker, and chocolate cookie swirls. And the ice cream, I was about to say, you'll change the world, but you'll die of a heart attack in the meantime. But then I spoke too soon.
Non-dairy.
It's non-dairy and it's vegan as well.
Wow, that's huge.
Would you look at that?
Yeah. Now
I hope this sells out as quick as Gwyneth Paltrow's candles.
I hope that sounds good. What did Gwyneth Paltrow's candles go to? Any charity?
No.
Her pocket.
Right. And we're not saying this ice cream smells like Colin or tastes like Colin. We're just putting his name on it, and it goes to his charity, which is very, very nice. And by the way, for those few who don't know, Colin Kaepernick is famous for bringing to light social injustice and kneeling during NFL football games before it became vogue to discuss social injustice in the United States. He took a lot of flack. He lost his job. He lost a starting quarterback career in the NFL. He hasn't been in the NFL since, but he took a knee. He started the entire, obviously.
That's a movement.
He started the movement, obviously became much bigger because of the events of this year. But he started the movement when nobody was discussing it, really. Nobody says we should kneel during the national anthem. Yeah. And he wasn't kneeling to be disrespectful to the flag. He was kneeling to bring some sort of publicity or some awareness. Thank you very much. Awareness to the social injustices that are going on in the United States. He said, especially,
and he said that.
Yeah, and he said, right, especially, when, 90% or whatever the percentages of the NFL players are black, and here they are, playing as if nothing else is going on in the United States when a lot was going on. And he says he had to say something about it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Blue Ivy Carter is nominated for a Grammy.
Yeah, guys.
What, from The Lion King?
Yeah,
God.
What
from
song did she sing? No, she was nominated.
She was-
She was
She was
nominated.
on Brown Skin Girl. She was on Beyonce's song Brown Skin Girl. She had a little part that she sang in it.
Oh, is that it? I was going to say, what did she sing? Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm reading here. It says, yeah, very good, Jonathan. She was alongside her mother and WizKid. Apparently, because of that, because she did, I guess, participate in the song and sing a little bit, she is now the youngest. She's the youngest nominee in the history of the Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
That's right there. Beyonce's kid would do that. That would
I don't
be Beyonce's
even
kid.
know I don't even know what to say about that, other than let me drink some tea.
Right. I probably have a very unpopular opinion about that because of the Beehive being so aggressive.
Right.
But I feel like there's so many people out there that really actually deserve this nomination, and like her singing a little 3 seconds, 5 seconds in a song that luckily, you know, your mother is a Beyonce. You know, everybody doesn't have that that luck to be born into musical royalty, when there's so many people out there that pour their heart and soul and money into their art and don't get any type of recognition to the point where they want to quit music. So, I mean, kudos to her. That's huge. But the Grammys is all bullshit to me.
I agree. BS.
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 Excusez-moi.
BS, Nesquik. BS.
Yeah.
All these award shows are.
It sure is.
Because if it wasn't BS, we would, me, Jonathan, and Vanessa, we would all have Emmy Awards already.
There you go.
Right.
Emmys.
We deserve it.
Why
Year
not?
after year.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's not going to be a Merry Christmas at the Kardashians because COVID has canceled their infamous Christmas party this year. Is that upsetting to you that the Kardashians are not having a Christmas party this year? Have you ever been invited to it? Maybe it would be upsetting if I would be upset if I was invited to it, and then this is the year I finally get invited, and now this is the year they cancel it. I go, damn, I'm really mad. I wanted to go. But if I'm not getting invited, do I really care?
No.
Do you?
I mean, people
No.
do.
People care
about people care about stuff like this, even if they have nothing to do with them.
I don't know. I guess unless I'm going to the party, why do I care whether they're having their party or not?
I sympathize with them or empathize. Is that what it is?
I don't know. Empathize. Yeah, but everybody's going through this. Nobody could go to a Christmas party anywhere.
God forbid they couldn't have their grand winter ball. Like, excuse me.
But you know,
like,
I mean,
what?
But you know,
the thing is, it's a big thing to them. So, like I said, for me, it's a huge thing for me to go back home, even though it's not a huge party. But it's the fact that I can see my family when we don't see each other for a whole year. So, you know, when you have this has been a thing that they've done with their family even before they were born. You know, it's a tradition that they've been doing. So to them, it's a big thing. To me, it's a big thing. I'm missing it. So I see where they.
I don't know, because finally they're following COVID, protocol after having their party, on their private island in the Bahamas or wherever they went. But you know what? Why I find this whole thing so a little disturbing is the sense that everybody's living through this. Yeah. So why are they making this big? I don't get to have a Christmas party. I don't get to go to a Christmas party. Jonathan doesn't get to go home. Vanessa doesn't get to have Christmas party, or what? Nobody gets to have it.
Right.
So why are we making a big deal about the Kardashian? They should be saying, we feel bad for everybody that's happening. Did they say anything about you or anybody else not being able to have a Christmas party? It's just about it's about their Christmas party.
No, but they also didn't write the article. That's the people. If the people didn't give a damn about them, then nobody would write articles on them.
I don't even know why we're talking about
all Chloe did was she tweeted.
On to the next T card.
Yeah, because they're not upset that we don't get to go to a Christmas party. All right, this whole thing is making me shaky, parched. I need a little tea.
Right. Your iced tea.
All right, finally, it's never too late to get a tattoo, Jonathan. I said to myself, I said to myself, you know, Uncle Brad, I think I'm at the age now that even if I wanted to get a tattoo, I think it's too old. Start wrinkling skin and stuff. Nobody wants to see a tattoo on a wrinkled skin guy. But you want to know what? Now that I read this card, maybe it's not too late for me. I don't have any tattoos, but maybe it's not too late for me because at age 62, Madonna finally got her first tattoo at age 62. The singer took to Instagram on Monday, December 7th to post a picture of her new design, inked for the very first time. The Material Girl star got the tattoo at the Shamrock Social Club in Hollywood, California. She documented the entire process from her consultation to the final result, and she chose to get LRDMSE, which is the initials of all her children, Lourdes, Rocco, David, Mercy, Stella, and Esther. Aww. She has an 8-year-old at age 62. That means she gave birth at 54, or did she
has a lot of
or did she adopt? She adopted. Oh, okay. I was going to say, wow. I was going to say,
Brad, you should look at the pictures. Look at the pictures. She has a lot of adopted kids. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. I can see now. Yeah. Right. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I didn't realize she gave birth to so many children. And then I was about to say, well, I guess it's not too late for me to have more kids, too, because she had kids at an older age.
Right.
All right. So
I like Madonna.
I like Madonna,
I think
too.
That's awesome.
I always liked Madonna, from voguing to Like a Prayer.
That was a good Madonna right there. Like a Prayer.
He only has 2, and then the other 4 are adopted.
Oh, is that it?
He has 2, and the other 4 are adopted.
Yeah, I have about 20 Madonna songs on my playlist, actually. Madonna has I don't want to say she's, I mean, I have thousands and thousands, but I know I have a lot. Maybe I don't have 20.
She's iconic.
Yeah.
She's iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, she likes to keep her life private, but she did open up about motherhood. We're talking about her having 6 children during a 2019 interview with the Today Show. She said, it reminded me how precious time is and how each child requires attention and vigilance and guidance in a different way. And really, you have to be ready for anything. First and foremost, they teach you to stop being obsessed with yourself.
I didn't talk about my day.
Yeah, right. So Dad, how was work? Everything going well in your life? No, just Dad, you wouldn't believe what happened to me today.
And also, Carol Anderson, the Tiger, said that it's not too late for you to get a tattoo. Just saying.
Yeah. What is the name of the place?
Shamrock in Hollywood.
The Shamrock Social Club in Hollywood.
You have 2 initials.
Yo,
you want to take or leave? You only got 2.
Yo, next time we go to Hollywood, me and you, we're gonna check out the Shamrock Social Club. Yo can get another one. He can use a new one.
Some new ink.
When was the last time you got one?
It's been a while, like 5 years.
Oh, you need some new ink.
I actually do. I'm trying to get my chest done.
Yeah, and Vanessa, my recollection is we've had this conversation. You have no tattoos. I remember that.
Yeah, so we all go together then.
All right.
It's a date.
All right. Well, we gotta get into our immigration. Later in the show, I will speak with Jolyon Collier, founder and president of Count and Coral, a nonprofit focused on restoring coral reefs through living underwater art. But right now, in today's Broad Education, I answered the question, if I enter the United States without an inspection, is it still possible to get a green card? It is still possible to get your green card even if you enter the country illegally. Illegally, I presume, means entered without inspection. So if you entered without inspection, there's always provisional waivers in certain cases. There's Section 245I that if you were included on a case that was filed prior to April 2001, you would be able to pay a penalty fee and get your green card here. There are other cases that no matter whether you entered the country with inspection or you entered with a visa, still enable you to get a green card. It's a very broad question, but there are certain options for certain people who enter the country without inspection to still obtain their green cards. You should check it out and find out whether some of those options work. All right, so now we get to the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes. It's not the dessert time. We have a basket of bread, a basket of butter. We got some meat and potatoes, and we got some immigration questions. We're going to start with Jose in Boston, Massachusetts. Jose, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's going on? How can I help?
My wife got the green card to me, the conditional green card. And um, after that, she called the police on me. And
Why did she call the police on you?
I have no idea.
What do you mean you have no idea? You know, come on. You don't just call the police out of nowhere. It's not like you're just quietly eating your dinner, not doing anything, and the wife comes over and says, "That's it, I'm calling the police." So
No, okay. I'll tell the problem is, I just want to tell you this first. She called police on me. She went to my business, and then she hit me with a staple in my head. And then somehow she called the police on me, but I didn't get I didn't get arrested, and I didn't say nothing. So after that, like 2.5 months later, she just vanished.
So you stayed with her for 2.5 months after she called the police on you?
No. We got married 2 years ago.
Right.
And she got her green card, the temporary green card.
You're the U.S. citizen.
I'm the U.S. citizen, and then like 2 months and a half, she just vanished. And a week later, I got served with a protection order against me. But
I'll tell you what she's doing.
Well, I know she's doing.
And by the way, Jose, I have no idea what happened, but let's take everything you're saying as being exactly what happened. You know,
yeah,
I just want to say something. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I have no idea, but we're just going to take it. What you're telling us is the truth. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm sure your wife has a different version, but what you're saying is the truth. So if what you're saying is the truth, then what your wife is doing is she's trying to establish that there was some abuse in the relationship by you to her, even though there was none, in order to justify leaving you, in order to justify eventually divorcing you, and having proof to show that it was a real marriage and things didn't work out. But
luckily, I have no video camera from my business, so I went to the court. I showed to the court, so they dismissed the distressing order, and I had no choice to report her, and she got arrested.
She got arrested for what?
She got arrested because
for making a false claim against you.
Yeah, so I just wonder right now, since you already applied for the I guess based on my views, the I-75 one, what's going to happen to her?
What's going to happen is this, okay? All of this getting arrested back and forth and calling the cops, etc., that goes to actually prove that you guys were in a bona fide marriage, that this wasn't any business, that you guys are really, you know, butting heads and have some sort of relationship that made you angry enough to get cops involved in everything. So it actually tends, in my opinion, to prove a validity of a marriage versus to prove that this is a business marriage. Given all these facts, somebody would say, you know what, yeah, this seems like a real marriage. It doesn't seem like a business marriage. So if she can prove it was a real marriage and she divorces you, she's going to get her permanent green card, except if during this arrest she pleads guilty to some offense that makes her deportable.
Well, the prosecutor said it's going to, because I cannot even drop the case because they have the proof, they have the video, so they said they're going to charge her for felony.
That's fine. So, in other words, she may plead guilty or be found guilty of a crime that makes her deportable. Okay, those are two different things. But let's assume, let's take the whole, she got convicted of a crime out of it. If there's no conviction, all of this tends to prove a real relationship, and if she gets divorced, she would get her permanent green card. If she's ultimately found guilty of something that would make her deportable, then I'll change my mind on what's going to happen.
Oh, so it's like probation is fine, right? They just give her probation. It's no jail time. It should be fine, I guess, right?
For her, it depends what she's found guilty of. Sometimes you plead guilty to, you don't get jail time and you still get deported. Because it depends on how long she's been in the United States, It depends on a lot of different things. When she entered, how long she's had her green card, when she gets to see an immigration judge. So it depends what she's found guilty of.
She only had the green card for 6 months.
I'm sorry?
She only had the conditional green card for 6 months.
I understand that. But ultimately, it's when she entered the United States, what you have to be in the United. If you're found guilty of a crime of moral turpitude, let me just put it to you very succinctly. If you're found guilty of a crime of moral turpitude within the first 5 years of your entry into America, then you're going to get deported. I don't know when she came to the U.S. either. I don't know if she's going to be found guilty of a crime of moral turpitude. But I'm basically giving you my general idea. But if you want to talk more, we can talk off the air. Hold on one second. Let me go to the next one. All right. Let's go to Simone in New York. Simone.
Hello?
Simone, how are you?
Good night, I'm good.
What's going on?
I got 2 questions for you.
Go ahead.
How long does it get respond after biometric?
For what? Biometric for what?
I-485. And
how long to respond for what? You want a work permit? Travel? Your green card? What are we talking about?
For work permit and travel documents.
Well, when did you take the biometrics?
About 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Well, it depends if you did all your paperwork right. If you did all your paperwork right, hopefully in another 90 days. If you didn't do your paperwork right, who knows when? But assuming it's done right, about 90 days.
Okay, and my brother, I have a question for you. Michael?
Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Brad. I'm legally married to a U.S. citizen. So he filed for me and my kids back in Jamaica, my 2 kids.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we made a mistake on the I-130 to petition for them. And we sent back in the correct thing. And up till now, we don't get back a response from, say, October. So can you tell me how long does it take to get back a response?
You filed an I-130, you didn't submit the right thing, they gave you an RFE, you submitted back the response in October. You're not going to hear till next summer, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't hear.
You won't hear for a while, 6, 7, 8 months, I would assume.
7, 8 months?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hang in there.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to Gary in New York. Gary.
How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Good. My question is, I have I have a VAWA pending over 2 years, so I put inquiry from the congressman, and then they reply me because I have a appeal pending from SIJ case like 4 years ago. They said we cannot make a decision on your I-360 because I have a I-290B pending. So they don't know. They said we need a file from them, but they need to know a process first, the I-290B. So my question is, if I'm going to withdraw my appeal, do I get NTA?
Well, if you withdraw your appeal was based on what? What were you appealing?
SIJ.
SIJ case?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would withdraw it because you already got married, so it's irrelevant now. So withdraw it. You're not going to be put in removal. It's not going to cause removal. You have a pending VAWA. As long as you get your VAWA approved, you're not going to get deported anyway. Withdraw the appeal.
So how long do they take to withdraw the appeal?
48 hours. I don't know. How quick does the mail get to immigration?
So they're going to send me a letter or something?
They'll send you a letter saying we acknowledge your request to withdraw the appeal.
So then they're going to send back file to them, or I have to put another inquiry to the VAWA unit?
The VAWA still has to get your file from your other case. They got to put the 2 cases together. But if you have an appeal pending and they don't want to make a decision on the VAWA case while your appeal on the SIJ is pending, because you can't be a married independent man, which is what a VAWA is, because you were an abused husband, and a juvenile who is in need of guardianship. That's what SIJ is. You can't be both.
But I know that's a long time ago pending, going through with the 2013.
Withdraw the SIJ, If you have an appeal pending since 2013, forget about it. Withdraw the SIJ, and hopefully you have a strong VAWA case and you'll get through. That's my advice.
So my question, I have to put inquiry back to the VAWA too. They can order the file or they will send them straight?
No, you just have to withdraw the appeal, and you have to wait on they will do their own internal thing of getting the files together.
Okay, one question more, sir.
That was your fifth one last question, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Tell me how many questions you have. Say, I have 7
Just
questions.
the last.
This is the last. I'm happy to answer all 7, but don't say I have one more, I have one more, and then there's one more on top of it. Say, I got 7 questions. Here's the 3rd one. Here's the 4th one. Here's the 5th one. Here's the 6th one.
I'm sorry, I'm not wasting your time.
Yeah. No, what's your last question?
Okay. I have a I-130 also pending from my spouse. Is over 3 years now too. So do I have to withdraw anything?
The I-130 from the spouse who was abusing you, or is this a new spouse?
Abusing.
Yeah, you don't have to withdraw anything because the VAWA...
Like, I don't want to later on they will think about that. I have to do that.
No, you don't have to withdraw that. Just let the VAWA continue.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for time. Thank you.
Graffy in New York. Graffy.
Hello.
How are you?
I am Uncle Brad. How are you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Okay, I have about 3 to 4 questions to ask you.
Now that's a way to start. Say, I got 4 questions. Here's question number 1. I mean back.
Okay, Uncle Brad. The first question is, after you do your interview for your green card after you do the interview, and they say they will send the reply in the mail. Do you have any idea how long it takes?
It's supposed to be 120 days, but I've seen them take 3 years.
Wow. Okay. Another question number 2. After, so actually the interview, before the interview, I have my travel documents, which is the advance parole.
Yeah.
And then I was scheduled for an interview on December 1st. I went to the interview. So I'm here thinking and wondering if it's possible to travel out of the country.
Yes. The answer is yes, because you have an advance parole. As long as it's valid, you have a pending adjustment, you can travel.
Without hearing from them?
Correct.
Okay.
What else?
So what if, my third question, what if it's been events where they don't grant you the green card and you're out of the country?
It's based on marriage. So either you'll get a Stokes interview and you'll be given notice of a Stokes interview, or you'll get a green card, one or the other. So don't worry. You'll have time to come back.
Thank you so much, Uncle Brad. And please do not get any tattoo. Do not get any tattoo.
My mother would kill me if I got a tattoo. So
we love you, Uncle Brad.
So if I get a tattoo, just don't tell my mother. All right, let me go to the next one. Thank you.
Okay, Uncle Brad. Thank you so much.
My problem. Okay. I mean, no problem. Omar in Brooklyn. Omar.
Hello?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. A question I wanted to ask pertaining to my work permit. I applied for the second one, but I want to apply for the third one. But I wanted to know if the third one I have to pay the fee or...
No. You do not have to pay a fee.
Okay.
That's it?
Yes, that's it. That's what I wanted to know.
All right, thanks. Merry Christmas. Don't have to pay the fee.
Okay.
And by the way, this call to me and you don't have to pay that fee either. Totally free. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Blessing in Dallas, Texas. Blessing.
Hey, Brad. Thanks for the good work you're doing. I appreciate. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you. I did submit my application 751 in the month of October. How soon do you think I'm gonna get a response from them with my extension?
You filed out. I mean, generally before COVID it was 4-6 weeks, but with COVID you got to figure it 90 days now.
90 days.
Yeah, they're taking a very long time.
Okay.
If you need something to travel or you need something to prove for work, you just get a letter from work, or bring a plane ticket and bring proof that you filed the I-751. You can go down to your local immigration office and get some sort of stamp in your passport.
Yeah, but as a matter of fact, my mother is kind of sick and she's been scheduled for surgery somewhere in Nigeria. But I want to be there when the surgery is going to take place.
Sure.
So
yeah. So how did you pay? Did you pay by money order? You pay by check? How'd you pay?
Cashier's check.
Okay, so just make sure the check was cashed. And if the check was cashed, get something from Nigeria that your mom's going for surgery, get a plane ticket, and go down to the local office in Dallas, Texas, and tell them you need to travel for emergency for your mom. You filed the I-751, you didn't get the extension. Put some sort of stamp in my passport for me.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Musa in Philly. Musa, how are you? Musa.
Oh, hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you, boss?
Good. What's going on?
I had a question about my VAWA application. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I did a VAWA application. Like, I get approved, and I did the interview. I do the adjustment status interview on March 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 months later, they sending me a revocation notice.
Why?
So we did an appeal.
Why did they want to revoke the?
They said, when I was doing the interview, the lady asking me if I'm still married. So when I got the visa from back home, I said no, I divorced. So she told me why I didn't put the divorce paper in my application. I said I don't know, and she made that one a deal. She said, okay, I was lying to the immigration officer, not telling them I was married back home.
So
I said, no, I divorced.
It sounds like to me
Yes.
that they revoked it, saying you were never legally married to the woman who you claimed that was abusing you, because your divorce from home never happened, or you submitted a fraudulent divorce. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like they're saying you were in a bigamous marriage, so you couldn't have been a spouse of you couldn't be an abused spouse because you were never legally married to this woman.
No, I did. So So the lady, when I married that one back home to get here. So when I married my wife from my U.S., I divorced that one, but I didn't add the divorce paper.
I'm not fighting with you. I'm just saying what it sounds like what they're saying. So
yes.
You got to prove what you're telling me.
Yeah, no, I did. So they told me to send the divorce paper and all the stuff to prove that I was divorced to my wife back home. I did that.
And
so when we sent those, so the Philadelphia field officer reviewed. They said, okay, so they didn't change the decision. They're going to forward the appeal to Washington.
All right. So they don't believe you, and now you're appealing.
Okay, yes. So it has been like almost 3 years because we did it.
What I would do is I would refile a new VAWA and prove that you're divorced from this lady. Withdraw the appeal. That's what I would do. But make sure those we got to be ready to make sure those divorce decrees are real.
No, but so now the file. I'm telling you how the file is now. So they transfer to Washington. Okay, so Philadelphia held it almost for one year.
Appeals take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years. And eventually they're going to rubber stamp. There's nothing, unless you were able to prove definitively that this is a valid divorce, you're going to get the same response.
Mm-hmm.
So I can almost guarantee you, based on what you're telling me, you're going to lose the appeal anyway, and you waited for nothing. So my advice is to withdraw the appeal, refile again, but you better be prepared to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this divorce is valid. They don't believe divorces from Africa. They just don't.
Yeah, but we sent my lawyer sent couple letters to them to Washington because Washington said they never got my appeal.
What is your question to me?
My question is
because I just gave you my full advice and you keep arguing with me. So tell me what is your question?
My question is, so I sent the letter to the VAWA unit. To Washington to ask the status of my case. They said it's been reviewed and I should get a decision in 60 days. So my question is now, when they approve it, what's going to be the outcome? It's going to be the green card, or I have to go through another process?
I don't know where you are. Did you file an adjustment application?
Yeah, I did.
All right, so
I did.
after they approve, assuming they approve it, which I don't think they will, but let's hope. Assuming they approve it, your I-360 would be approved, which would be your VAWA case. It would get sent back to your local office in Philadelphia, and they would schedule, you'd be in the back of the line to be scheduled for a new interview for adjustment of status. You'll have to do a new medical exam and bring updated documents, whatever documents that need to be updated on your adjustment application. You have to go through new security checks again, because the last time you did a security check was 3 years ago. So basically, you're doing a new adjustment, even though you don't have to file it again.
Okay, so, but you think the decision will come in 60 days?
No, but if they tell you that, then fine. But they
said in 60 days if they don't send it. So to get in touch with them again, that's what they told me in the letter. I received last Monday.
I gave you my advice on what to do. It doesn't sound like this appeal is going to be won. I don't know what you submitted in your appeal to prove that this was a real divorce. That's the problem.
No, I mean my lawyer, sent everything. He said a divorce, but I didn't know that I have to send that one. So that's why that was the mistake.
All right.
And they said,
So
okay, now.
See what they say. I hope I'm wrong.
And they said, okay, now send us everything. We send them everything.
I hope I'm wrong. I just gave you my answer to your question.
No. I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Wait then. Let's hope I'm wrong. You waited all this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting on 60 days and see if what will be the outcome, and then I get in touch with them because I've been waiting for 3 years now, man.
Okay. All right. Call me back in 60 days if you haven't heard.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Manuel in Bakersfield, California. Manuel.
Yes. How are you, Mr. Brad?
How are you?
Great. I just had a question. My wife is here on a K-1 fiance visa. We did get married already. We have not done the adjustment of status yet, but we are going to. We found out that she's pregnant recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So my question is there any way we can get some kind of Medi-Cal, Medicaid, covered California
for the unborn child in her pregnancy, yes.
For the unborn child and for her pregnancy,
yes. After the child is born, she has 30 days to get off it. But you can keep it for the unborn child, and you can keep it for the child after the child's born.
Okay, perfect. So it will not mess up anything with her adjustment of status or getting a green card or whatever?
No.
Okay. I think that's it. That was perfect.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bubba in New York. Bubba.
Hello?
Hi, Bubba.
How you doing?
How are you?
I'm fine. I just want to ask two questions.
Go ahead.
The first question, I've been married since 2018 with an American citizen, you know?
Thank you.
Hello?
I'm listening to you. What's your question? You've been married since 2018. You're a U.S. citizen.
Yeah. And then after that, and 5 months later, before I applied my paper, I was arrested by undercover because I buy Apple Watch from undercover, and then I get arrested, and they take me to the prison. Then they let me go 15 minutes later, and then they do my fingerprint. I think after that, the immigration know I'm here. They send me overseas later, and then on that time, since I've been married long time, 8 months after, but I don't apply for the paper, and then I applied for the petition. They approve it. They send me my social security and my work permit. And now I'm supposed to go back to my last hiring day is January 14, 2022. But my wife sometimes, every time we have problems, sometimes she be like jealousy, you know, all of that. She try to like, I want to know if she don't go to my hiring, what can happen to me, because she already texted me. I have all the proof on my phone. She told me if because I just buy a new store, like I have deli.
Well, you have 3 ways to figure this one out. All right, and this goes with everybody. And basically, I hear what you're saying. What you said to me is you're in removal for a stupid thing you did with an app, buying something from Apple, but that was resolved. But you're now in removal, and your final hearing of removal is 2022 because the courts are completely backed up, and you're having problems. You're having problems with your wife now, so you don't know what will happen in 2022. And you have the same. I'll give you the same answer I give everybody every week who's having problems with their spouse. Figure out a way to stay married and keep her happy. Move out, and file as an abused spouse if in fact you're abused, or get divorced and marry somebody else. Those are your three choices. There's no fourth alternative.
I can no waiver.
You can file again. You and your wife show up jointly, prove it's a bona fide marriage. You file as an abused spouse. You get a divorce.
Because I have all the text messages. She told me that she's gonna kill me. She said if I don't put her name
all right. So there's a lot of emotional abuse, a lot of threats, a lot of manipulation that could turn into extreme emotional abuse. So hold on one second. Sounds like you need a consultation. All right. Let's go to John in Somerset, Massachusetts. John.
Hello?
John, how are you?
Good day, Brad. I got two questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a permanent resident. I'm planning to get married to my girlfriend soon in Jamaica. What documents should I take with me?
To get married?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever they need, you got to speak to the clerk who does the marriages in Jamaica, what documents they need to get married. I don't know what the rules are for a marriage in Jamaica. If you're asking me what you need to file for your wife after you're married, you need your green card, you need your birth certificate, her birth certificate, your marriage certificate, and divorce decrees from prior spouses.
Okay, so how long does it take for me after filing until they're here?
About 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Let's go to Suyash in San Jose, California. Suyash.
Hi, Brad.
How are you?
I'm worried. I recently received an request for additional evidence on my I-130 VAWA application. Because of the nature of my marriage, I couldn't add her to the lease agreement. I tried to add her, but the application got denied. And so I submitted the copy of the rental form, which was filled by her, and also the electricity bills, which were on her name. So since I have an RFE and I do not have much more documents with me, I'm worrying. So
well, I mean, in the end, you can submit what you have to submit. You could always get affidavits from friends and family to acknowledge that they know it was a real marriage, and then ultimately you'll hopefully get an interview where you'll be able to give your testimony on why and how it was a real marriage and how come you don't have certain documents. But I would, if you're light on the joint documents, then I would suggest affidavits from other people.
Okay.
Perhaps, if you have a consultation with us off the air, we could talk about other things that you may or may not have that you didn't realize. Oh, I didn't realize I can use this.
Sounds good.
All right. So hold on one second. Loretta in Port Charlotte, Florida. Loretta.
Hey, Uncle Brad, good night.
Good night. How are you? Look how happy
Lord, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I get to talk to you tonight. I regularly listen to your program.
What's going on?
I text in and I always get advice from you, and I got my 10-year green card.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Uncle Brad. You're the best.
Oh, wow.
You're the best. You and Yo-Yo and the first girl that was there, Kim.
And now Vanessa.
Yes, Vanessa. Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna ask you a question now. My son did the interview in Jamaica, and they asked him for some more evidence. So they asked him to get something from me. That's I-864A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I just recently got my green card, my permanent resident. I don't get the 2-year. I just get the 10-year.
You can do it.
No, but from I didn't work. I
I didn't work. I just started work January gone, so I didn't file no taxes yet because they asking for W-2s, but I didn't. But I do the affidavit of support. My husband is retired. We get somebody to do the affidavit.
Why don't you get a second affidavit of support from somebody else then?
Yeah, we get a second affidavit of support from somebody. With my husband, he's retired, but he don't file tax. That's
fine. So you
and I write a letter.
That's fine. You have your husband who's retired. You do the I-864A. Just submit pay stubs or a job letter to show you've been working.
Yes, I did all of those.
And then you submit your I-864A, and hopefully you have a good second affidavit of support, and everything hopefully will go well.
Yes, it go well. And then I just got a letter today from them said it is in administrative review.
Right, yeah. They need about 120 days. That's for it happens with everybody.
Okay, so it was from the current. They said currently in review.
Yeah. Give them 120 days. You'll hear back from them within that time.
Okay, thank you very much, Uncle Brad. Have a good and blessed holidays. You and Yo-Yo and Vanessa. And I pray that you all don't catch that stuff. Okay.
I hope so too. Thank
and
you
have
very
a blessed one. Thank you very much. I love you. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mwah.
Oh my God, I'm getting kissed through the air.
Yes, thank you very much, Uncle Brad. You are the best.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Oh, very sweet. Shanika in the Bronx. Shanika.
Hello.
Shanika, how are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Brad. I filed an I-485.
Yes.
And I waited for an interview, but I also filed an I-131, and I got an approval letter 3 days ago.
Right.
And on the letter it says you must consult and consulate or overseas consulate. What does that mean? And then they will tell me what to do and send me the card.
Did you apply for advanced parole?
Right.
Or did you apply for a reentry permit? What did you apply for?
I applied for advanced parole, I-131.
I don't know what you're reading now.
I get a letter.
I'm not sure what you're reading. And you have an approval letter that says.
They send me a letter. They send me a letter said I'm approved for it.
Right.
But on the letter it said I must call and call the consulate office or an overseas consulate, and then they will give me an instruction what to do.
You don't need to call the consulate. If you have your advanced parole, you just travel with it. So I just want to.
I don't get a card. I just get a letter.
I understand. Does it have your picture on it?
No.
All right. This is what I think you should do, just so we're all talking about the same thing. Hold on. Send it to us off for the air, and let me take a look at it. Hold on one second, all right? So let me see what you're looking at. Andrea in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Andrea.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Not bad, thank you. How are you and
Good.
the team?
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, so I got a letter from the VAWA and for more evidence, but on the letter they state that they need a good conduct letter from the local police. But I did call in Manhattan and they said it backed up until the 23rd of February, which my due date is gonna pass. So I'm not sure where else to go to get that fingerprint that they need.
You got an RFE?
I get it like a week ago.
Okay, so it's called an RFE. It's a request for further evidence, and if it's dated before December 30th of this year, the USCIS gives you an extra 60 days from the due date to get everything in. So if your due date's mid-February, you have till mid-April. You should be okay.
No, so on the letter it said that the final date is February 18th, and
what I'm telling you is is USCIS, by operation of law, has said whatever the final date is, add 60 days, and you'll still be okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, so you'll be fine.
Have a good one.
All right.
Have a good one.
Good luck. You too.
Bye.
Thank you. All right. By the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, you can always follow me on at Real Brad Bernstein. Why is it something in my ear? At Real Brad Bernstein, you could always drop me a DM, and I'll be happy to answer your questions as best as I can. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. If you follow us at Brad Show Live, you can see the best 1 or 2 minutes of our show on Instagram. And also, you can correspond with the entire crew there as well. And Jonathan and Vanessa.
Yep, you guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
All right, so with that said, you guys ready to check our social media and see what's going on?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do something we call social media check-in. All right, what do we got?
All right. Okay, awesome. So you guys remember every time we start, I always tell you guys, join the VIP page. We have VIP members that have put in their questions throughout the day. We're asking them first, all right? So now this is from a VIP Brad Squad member, Bright Akpan, saying, has anyone changed from joint I-751 to a waiver while waiting for an interview appointment letter?
Yes.
Reggie Murphy, another Brad Squad VIP member. How long does it take for an I-130 to get approved?
Depends who's sponsoring you. If it's your brother and sister, it's going to be 10 years or 5 years. If it's your U.S. citizen spouse, hopefully less than a year.
Okay, Jennifer Garza, another VIP Brad Squad member, saying, I'm going through a divorce I do not want, but I have reason to believe that my husband entered the marriage only for the green card. He went and got an attorney to start separation. I did make a report, but didn't go to the interview. I love him and his 10-year-old son, who I sponsored as well. As an attorney, wouldn't you try to get them to reconcile for the case with immigration?
Not necessarily. If you have the 2-year green card and you're going from a 2 to a 10, you don't, as an attorney, maybe as a marriage counselor, as a pastor, as a concerned citizen who wants to bring people to be in love with each other, yes. But as an attorney who understands law, not necessarily. Because if you have a 2-year green card, and you can prove it was a bona fide marriage and you just don't love the person anymore, you can get a divorce and complete the case on your own.
Eddie Tristan on YouTube. My case is being actively reviewed by USCIS. What does that mean? Because I still have a request for evidence to submit until January 2021. It
means they haven't updated their computer system, and you better respond to that RFE.
Tofik Muhammad on YouTube. I'm a natural citizen of the USA. I have a biological daughter who is 8 years old in Ethiopia. Is it possible to apply for a passport and citizenship in the U.S. Embassy in Ethiopia?
Yes, as long as you can prove that you were living in the United States for 5 years prior to her birth, after your age of 14, and that you're a U.S. citizen when your child was born. Not you became a U.S. citizen after, but at the time of the birth 8 years ago, you were a U.S. citizen. The answer is yes, she's a U.S. citizen. Go apply directly at the U.S. Embassy.
Bhuwan Kumar on YouTube. Could you explain about my I-130? My case reached NVC and was qualified. It's been 4 months and I didn't get an interview date. Why?
COVID. Trump and COVID. Both for those reasons.
Celio Bay or Ba on YouTube. What can you do if you don't get your Social Security card, even if you filed your family-based green card at the same time?
Well, Social Security. I mean, I don't. You would. Why are you qualified for a Social Security card unless you have a green card or a work permit? Which I didn't hear in that question.
I know you on YouTube. Why was USCIS not taking application fees up to 3 weeks now?
COVID, Trump, COVID, yo-yo.
Blessing Odin on YouTube. I submitted my I-751 application at the end of October. When am I likely to get a response extension letter from USCIS?
The same questions all the time. And by the way, you know, and I'm saying I'm not unhappy with it. It's just seems to be every problem with everybody now that immigration's not responding in a timely manner. Trump and COVID and Trump. But hopefully your I-751's extended in 90 days.
Begadon TV on YouTube. I'm from Jamaica. I was traveling 8 months ago and my visa was canceled because I didn't buy my ticket and the PCB office took my phone. Is that right?
Who's the PCB?
PCB office.
Customs Border Patrol.
Not
CBP.
sure. customs.
Okay. Is it right that they take your phone? You have no rights at the border until they let you through. So you have no rights, period. They can do whatever they want to you.
Okay, Blaze on YouTube. If a K-1 visa comes to the U.S., gets married, and later divorces before receiving the unconditional, are they going to be deported or can they remarry and stay?
They can complete the case under matter of cesse as long as your wife gave you an affidavit of support. Because when you come on a K-1, the act of getting married entitles you to a green card, provided your wife gives you, or your husband, whoever's sponsoring you, gives you an I-864 affidavit of support. So you need, on a K-1, you need two things. A valid marriage, obviously prove it's bona fide, and an I-864 by your spouse. So after she files the adjustment or he files the adjustment and the marriage breaks up and you get divorced, you can still complete that adjustment or file a new adjustment under matter of cesse. You cannot do a new marriage on a K-1 visa and get your green card in the United States of America. It has to be based on that first marriage.
Leash C27 TV US on YouTube. If my wife, a US citizen, is getting SNAP benefits and living in public house, can that be an issue for my AOS case?
Yes, it can. It's a huge issue. You most likely will not get through.
Christian B on YouTube. My I-129F case was approved on December 4th by USCIS and was sent to NVC. Can you please tell me how long NVC will take to send my file to the French embassy?
This is based on marriage to a U.S. citizen?
It's the I-29 case that was approved.
Oh, I-129 case. Well, first you got to do affidavits of support, and you got to do biographic data. So as quick as you can get through the National Visa Center stage, that's as quick as they'll send it to the embassy.
Augusto on YouTube. Can I terminate removal proceedings with the SIJ case approved?
You should be able to file an adjustment with the judge with the SIJ case approved and get your green card before the judge.
Okay, Mike Tucker on Facebook. My wife's green card expires on February 1st, 2021. Her card has a CR6. For the category, we filed an I-90 and an I-751. Which was the correct form?
You need to file an if you're CR, you're a conditional resident, which means you got to file an I-751 at the 90 days before the 2-year expiration.
Julia Johnson on YouTube. How long will it take to get your final interview for I-75? I'm waiting over a year now.
I-751 is going to be over 2 years. All right, two more.
Michael Overcome Newsome on Facebook. After an I-148 interview, can you travel on advanced parole before you get approved?
Yes.
And last one comes from our VIP, Jessica Leamy, Joel Reed on Facebook. If a green card holder marries someone who's already in the States, how long will it take for that person to get a green card?
If they're in legal status, they can file an adjustment right away. If they're out of status, it's going to take a while because you got to file an I-130, do a provisional waiver, go home and come back. Then you're talking 2+ years. All right. Good job, guys. Jolyon Collier is the founder and president of Counting Coral, a non-profit focused on restoring coral reefs through living underwater art. We discussed Jolyon's work, the correlation between climate change and migration, and his own immigration story in pursuit of the American dream. Let's watch. Jolyon Collier is the founder and president of Counting Coral, a non-profit focused on saving and protecting coral reefs through living underwater art. Jolyon joins me to discuss Counting Coral's plan of action and how he overcame a very difficult past in the United Kingdom to creating a successful life here in America, now culminating in his passion to give back by fighting climate change and saving our oceans. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time coming on. So let's get right into this. What is Counting Coral?
Well, Counting Coral is a non-profit organization, and we design, build, and install very unique contemporary art pieces that function as coral nurseries, and we donate those to people doing really good work in the coral restoration industry in tourist areas. So we don't plot these sculptures in the middle of nowhere. We pop them where people are going to be visiting, and it becomes an attraction which has many different elements to it.
Is it more important to get tourists to come to certain areas, or are you doing it more to save the coral reefs that are being destroyed by civilization? Because it's like a competing interest there, no?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, where corals are being damaged is where tourists are at. There's a huge number of reefs that are dying, and they're right next door to massive dive operations going on all day long. So the concept is, why would we put a sculptural marine park as a coral nursery in the middle of nowhere where no one sees it, when we can have all the added benefits of having a coral sculptural installation that diverts diver traffic off of existing reefs that are extremely fragile? And people don't know about this, but one of the 3 top killers is tourist traffic. People stand on it, snap it, grab it. It's unbelievable the amount of damage that tourist divers actually inflict on coral reefs. So when we place our sculptures, they're slightly away from coral reefs. So then people come to our site, and it alleviates the pressure off an existing reef, and they get a great experience because they're actually seeing coral grow on this really cool sculptural installation.
Which then I guess attracts all the different fish that they wanted to come see by diving, I guess, right?
Exactly. You'll get the sharks, the turtles, all the fish, yes.
Why is coral so important?
There's so many reasons, right? I mean, so if you're a coastal community in the tropics, they stop storm surges essentially. So you have a hurricane comes in, big waves, they crash on that reef and don't go onto the islands. And you can see this in Hawaii happening quite a lot, is storm surges will come up, grab half the beach and pull it away. That's not necessarily because coral have died and they've gone away. It's just storm surges are bigger and badder these days. So they're very important in terms of coastal communities. But 25% of protein and fish communities come from coral reefs. So they start off as small fish, they go off into the ocean, become big fish, we catch them, put them on our dinner plate. So you're talking about 500 million people rely on fish. They're a direct link to coral reefs. So when coral reefs die, guess what? There's no home and habitat for those small fish to be able to grow and go into the big ocean and be caught and consumed by us.
The baby fish, until they feel strong enough to go out into the ocean, they stay safe within these corals.
Yeah, if anybody's watched Finding Nemo, there's a little scene where the little fry go to the edge of the reef and they're terrified to go out into the open ocean. Well, it's a sanctuary for these smaller fish to be able to develop, grow, and then move on.
Now, is coral itself living?
The reason why coral is so special is it's an animal, but it's also a plant and it's also a rock. So you have all 3. It's quite an interesting creature. The reason why they're so special is because we've lost 50% of all coral reefs on the planet right today. And the prediction is in 30 years, we're going to lose the rest. So you're taking an animal species, been around for millions of years, and you're killing it in 60 years. Done, gone, no more. So it's a very imperative thing that we really take action steps towards driving awareness and getting the public and the government officials to understand that this is a very, very vital and crucial revenue for tons and tons of people globally.
So is counting coral, is it just building sculptures and throwing it in next to the corals, or you have a political component too, or an educational component?
Yeah, so just by happenstance, these sculptures ask the question. When people dive on it, they come up and they go, what's that doing on the bottom of the ocean? And then the dive operators, they tell this message, right? But in addition to that, when we put these sculptures in, we put them in Fiji particularly. This is where our home base is to put these sculptures. We have to ask permission by the clansmen and the villagers because they own the reef rights. So when we ask permission, we plop these in, and now everybody becomes stakeholders because there's an added revenue stream from the resort owners to the dive operators. And we ask all those guys to upcharge to the divers just a little bit to contribute to give money to the villagers as community projects. So they'll donate the money to us. We take that money, we might put a pump to help pump water out, or a solar system to help that community. So everybody becomes a stakeholder. Then the message becomes, hey, you see this as a valuable commodity now, let's protect this area. So then we can go from just a sculpture to asking the locals if we would be okay to protect that area, because now fish are coming back, there's more resources. Then you can go to a government and say we want a marine protected area and negotiate that deal. And those are long-term plays. These don't happen in a matter of weeks.
And when did you start diving?
So I started diving in my early 20s. I started surfing first, and then just fell in love with the ocean. Growing up as a kid in England, jumping off the rocks, and then you come to California and it's like the epicenter of like surf culture. So I started surfing, and then the next progression was snorkeling and diving, and went down to Mexico and Fiji and all these different places and just fell in love with the ocean.
Let's take a step back. I hear an English accent. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Right. So you're originally from the UK. So how did you make it to the US? Tell me your immigration story.
So the immigration stories are quite a good one, actually. So,
okay.
You know, it's kind of like the typical dream, you know, let's go to America. It's the land of opportunity and all the rest of it. But getting here, as a lot of people know, is very difficult. And actually staying here is even harder. So, you know, we're talking 30 years ago when I came here, and immigration laws are completely different then. 9/11 has obviously changed everything. I mean, that just stopped the whole lot. So, you know, I came here at 19, didn't want to leave, so I didn't. I stayed here.
You had overstayed your time.
I was an illegal alien for 13 years, and it was very, very stressful. And I lived in a very depressed place in England, no money, no opportunities, no nothing. So when you come here, you do everything you possibly can to survive. And as an immigrant, you work 10 times harder to be able to survive because there's no backup.
Was it worse living here as an illegal alien for 13 years, or was it worse where you grew up in England where you had nothing?
Hands down, England was the worst.
Really?
You know?
So
I grew up as a kid burning our furniture to stay warm and stealing and just being a general not a good person, because you had to do things that weren't good to survive, at least from my perspective. There's a lot of rich people in England, there's a lot of middle class. We were like at the lowest of the low. So.
And what did you do to survive? When you say you had to work, there was no social safety net. There's no social safety net for anybody who's out of status in America.
Well, so in England, I was fortunate enough to have a friend of mine say, hey, come work for this painter. And at that time, I was working for $15 a day because he was kind of taking advantage of me. But I did a 4-year apprenticeship in amongst the chaos of that lifestyle. And, you know, I'm an observer. So I observe and I watch, and then I adapt those to my own skills. And fortunately, I'm very skilled, and I recognized that at a very young age. So as soon as I moved here, I started a painting and decorating company. And when I say painting and decorating, this is not just picking up a roller and a tray and a caulking gun. You know, I was trained in French polishing, wallpapering, various different finishes, from lacquers to all different types of stuff. So I came here skilled, and then I just translated that into a career.
How did you turn that into a green card?
You know, I was traveling a lot, and, you know, going in and out of the country was terrifying back in those days because you just didn't know if you'd get back in. And even though I'd overstayed, they'd still let me back in. Again, this was pre 9/11, but after 9/11, I said to my current girlfriend, I said, look, I'm not going to be able to go back and see my family. And the longest I went was 9 years, not seeing my family, because I just didn't want to leave because I might not get back in. So she said, look, let's get married. And we were boyfriend and girlfriend. So it wasn't an illegal thing. It was a legitimate marriage. We got married, and that's history.
Are you together still today?
No, we've gone our separate ways. She is a wonderful human being, and we're great friends. So, yeah.
But you're a U.S. citizen now?
I am, yes.
Okay, so congratulations. And once you became legal, you began to build your own business. What was that business?
Several businesses. So I went from painting and decorating to then into concrete, block work, brickwork, stone fireplaces, and then into building high-end recording studios in LA, then into multi-million-dollar homes all over Malibu, Beverly Hills.
Where did you get this whole idea that I have to personally save the coral reefs?
Well, look, it's like this. You've got to pick your battle when it comes to environmental issues, right? Imagine trying to organize planting 300 million pieces of coral in the ocean. Starts off with a $1,000 open one water course. Then if you want to be safe, you want to do your open water 2, you want to do advance and rescue because you're working with boats, coral reefs at depth. So it's a very complex and difficult task, and not many people are doing it.
Is this something that's been burning inside of you for a while?
Well, so, you know, going into retirement, you end up with a lot of time on your hands, and, you know, the oceans just permeates in my brain. And every article I read is, you know, coral bleaching started in the 90s, and it was periodically every 10 to 15 years it would happen. Now it's 2016, 17, 18, 20. It's happening at an alarming rate. So when I went into retirement, I just translated my skills of engineering and art, because, you know, I'm creating incredible artwork for people in their homes, essentially. I'm building really cool structures. It's a natural progression to me to go, okay, how do I save reef? How do I spread awareness? Because I could go and plant reef and no one would know about it. But if I go and put a sculpture in the ground and put coral on it, people are going to pay attention, take pictures and share that message. So that's how that all transpired.
Do you have to do something to put the coral on the sculpture, or does it just naturally start growing?
No, you have to harvest the coral and place it. And that's the point between this is when people are restoring corals, they have little tables that are about 3 feet off the ground and they plant fragments. So the way you propagate, there's a few ways you do it, but the way you do it is you take a cutting essentially of the coral, you go put it on the table, wait for it to grow, and then put it back on the reef. So what we're doing is we're saying we're going to donate you a sculptural art piece that is acting as a nursery.
Are you focusing solely on the Fiji Islands, or are you installing coral sculptures all over the world?
So we were going to go for Hawaii, and we soon realized that the American red tape and bureaucracy is not going to allow us to do what we want to do without spending millions of dollars. You can go down to Fiji, they don't care, and it's owned by the local chiefs. So you can go and sit down with the chief and get permission from them to do whatever you want. And obviously we're doing the right thing.
What about like Australia? We hear the Great Barrier Reef is getting destroyed.
Why bother when I can do it in one of the most pristine places in the world that's having all the same problems, but none of the help? Great Barrier Reef is doing a biobank, which is a $264 million facility to house these corals as a coral bank to save these species because they're going to go extinct.
How do you make sure that these sculptures, they don't get destroyed by the current storms?
There's no guarantees against the 100-year storm. So we engineer them to take just your basic current activities and storms. Well, obviously not the major ones, but these just fall over. You just pick them up, put them back again, and away you go. So,
is there any connection between what we're experiencing now in terms of climate change and the loss of coral in the ocean?
100%. It is a 100% factor. Meat production is pumping a massive amount of methane and other gases into the atmosphere that are 260 times more harmful than CO2. Now, our atmosphere is heating up, as we know. We call it global warming. Now, the oceans, what a lot of people don't understand, absorb that energy, and it's equivalent to 5 atomic bombs going off every second. So the ocean is absorbing that, and it heats up. And as you know, if you boil a pot of potatoes and you get it to boil, it boils over, right? So that's what's happening. We have thermal expansions. The oceans are now rising through that heat, but also corals only survive in a very small window of temperature. So when that temperature rises, they die. And that's what's happening to coral reefs.
So I talk a lot on my show about how climate change affects migration.
100%. You got to understand that most immigration laws are just going to go out the window at this point in time in the next 30 years, because you're not going to be able to stop an entire nation of people having to move because they cannot survive because the oceans have risen and there's no land for them to stay on. They are moving in the Maldives already. Those islands are going underwater. You know, Yemen's a great example. You know, the war in Yemen is pretty much being fought over water. And guess what? Everyone's bailing because water is not worth fighting over, so they're leaving. Guess what? That puts pressure on other communities and countries to say, oh man, we've got all these immigrants. You're going to have to wake up real quick to the environmental issues at hand. Otherwise, you know, all these countries can talk and talk and talk about immigration as much as they want, but they are going to face the biggest crisis ever handed to them on a plate, and it's coming real soon.
I agree with you. And it all interacts with the oceans, with how people live and where they live.
Those oceans rise. We have every coastal community around the world being affected, and Miami, you know, is being affected. You know, their city is flooding, and they're putting in millions and millions of dollars to have pumps put in. That's not going to stop. You're just putting a Band-Aid on a very large cut. It's like this complete like madness of thinking as opposed to addressing the issue, which is we're overproducing animals, we're cutting down every freaking forest in the planet, and we're pumping CO2 and carbon into the atmosphere. Those are the issues. Don't try and fix the down chain. Fix the top part, the top drivers that are doing it. Then you don't have to worry about the down chain because they're going to take care of themselves.
Where can people find out more about Counting Coral?
You can go to countingcoral.com, or you can go to our YouTube channels, or anywhere on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram is @Counting Coral. and you can join us there.
And Jolyon, one last question. Have you reached your American dream?
Yeah, 100%. And now that dream's turned into a slight nightmare with the politics and the various issues that are going on here. People have got to understand this nation was built on immigrants, and I'm a prime example of what people can do and can achieve. Yes, there are elements of illegal aliens coming in and turning into gang members. Guess what? That's a social issue. You need to teach people, you need to educate people, but America unfortunately is stripping away education. So how are you going to fight this battle of immigrants coming in, turning into gang members when you've literally stripped away their tool and their engine to be able to become successful? But 99% of the people that come to this country are trying to do well by themselves and their families. This is just a different way of doing it. And I've got my own opinions on how you can go about doing that to help immigrants come to this country freely, but pay their dues and be legal.
Jolyon Collier, it's a really important thing that you're doing. Thank you again for your time.
You're
All
welcome.
right, very interesting. I actually found that very interesting. Had a lot to say. Jolyon Collier, the founder and president of Counting Coral. All right, Jolyon, we're back. I am going to be asked, and I am going to answer 9 immigration questions in 50 seconds, or everybody knows the drill. We just blow Uncle Brad to smithereens. You guys ready?
We are.
All right, let's go.
My daughter came to the U.S. at 15. Does she qualify for DACA?
If she came before June 2007.
How soon after biometrics do you get an interview?
Could be anywhere from 6 to 12 months.
Will applying for health insurance affect my visitor's visa?
No.
While I wait for my I-130 approval, can my spouse get a B1, B2 visa?
You can try, but you have to show non-immigrant intent, which is hard when you show immigrant intent.
Do I apply for a J1 or I-130 first?
I don't know what your case is about.
How long after getting your green card can you file for divorce?
If you have your 10-year card, immediately.
Can I use an NVC receipt to get a driver's license?
No.
How long can a company sponsor your green card?
How long?
How long?
How long? I don't know.
How long after J1?
I don't know how long does a company. What was the question? How long does it take for a company to sponsor for your green card?
No. How long can a company sponsor your green card?
That doesn't even make sense. How long can a company sponsor a green card? I don't even understand what
Right,
the question is. It's not even grammatically correct question or sentence.
Can a company sponsor a green card? Would have been
maybe.
it, right?
Yeah. I mean, does anybody look at these questions ahead of time? All right, I certainly don't. And what's the last question?
How long after J1 approval can you travel to the U.S.?
After J1 approval? Immediately, if you have your visa. And by the way, I think the question, there was a question that said, do I file a J1 or I-130 first? I think they were talking about a waiver of, because a J1 is just a visa, so that also didn't make a lot of sense. But I think what they're asking was, do you file for the waiver of the J1 visa first before filing the I-130? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we've done better. All right, comments of the day. Comments of the day. What do you got?
All right. Our first comment of the day comes from 29 Super C saying, good news for the U.S. with the vaccines. I hope that persons with morbidities receive it soon. I have great confidence that the vaccine will spread through the country.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, 29 Super C.
I am too.
Yes.
This one's from our VIP, Carol Anderson, the Tiger, and she says, yes, Brad is going to get a tattoo.
Oh, she knows something that we don't know.
I don't know, but I see the pressure coming from the squad now.
They want you to get one. You should
Might have to just get
Maybe
squad.
I thought I'd do the Mike Tyson, and just, what does he have right on his face?
Yeah.
Would I be like the fiercest immigration
you're just
lawyer
gonna go
if I did the Mike Tyson tattoo?
You gotta go hard or go home.
That's
Brad.
right.
Go hard or go home.
Brad,
what was that movie? I think it was it The Hangover? The Hangover, where the guy wakes up in Thailand and he has the Mike Tyson tattoo on his
That's probably
face.
the only way we'll get you that one.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, our third one comes Maxine got we saying, listen to the advice of our Uncle Brad. He is good at this stuff.
Yeah, I am. Thank you. Thank you.
And to wrap up comments of the day, drumroll? No? Demba Sawo, and they say, this is my best show ever. Even if I miss the show live, I always watch my favorite Brad show live after the live. Thank you and keep up the great work. Thumbs up all the time.
All
Love
right.
that
Love
energy.
that. Love that energy, Demba. Thank you very much. Great job, Yo-Yo. Great job, Vanessa. Great job, Jolyon. Doing the whole thing by himself with 2 legs, a foot, and everything.
He's a beast.
Thank you for the entire crew who's watching from home. And thank you for the squad from watching from home, too. We'll see you all tomorrow. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.